all know the song. What song?
The Dearly Duncan song.
Dearly Dunkers and the Dunkaroos.
No.
That must be a southern thing.
Go on, sing it first.
Can we get a
Everybody on one. Last time I went out, I got robbed, so I'm not going back there.
Dunkers.
Dunkers.
Never Dunkers.
I'm Keel, and I've been volunteering up at Corrymeela since September.
All right, my name is Selena, and I've been volunteering with Crew since September.
Hello, my name is Eoghan. Yeah, anger and frustration, and especially when you're dealing with grief. It's something that me as a guy, we're told to keep it in, or if we do let it out, we lash it out in a negative way. We don't know how to talk about our emotions, our grief and our anger to either our parents or parent that's left behind, or friends or family. We don't know how to communicate with one another, and whether that's because it's not manly enough to do so, or something else, something innate within us. But it certainly was a struggle for me to kind of come to terms with that. And the way I dealt with it when my granddad died is I started journaling and kind of expressed myself through writing and just talking to myself more or less, but having it written down and not just kept in your head kind of unleashes it. But then as maybe as I matured a bit, or I gained new relationships, especially with women, I learned how to talk out my emotions a lot more. So if you find you're able to talk to your guy friends about it, like, there's nothing wrong about it. And generally speaking, whenever I've approached it and whenever I talked about it with my male friends, they don't start laughing at you. Yeah. It's this weird stigma about it. They will sit down and listen.
The question that I'm answering is the movie or song that means the most to me since my friend Tadil committed suicide just over a year ago is Coco, which is just a new movie that I've seen that's come out. But it was just such a lovely movie where the land of the dead was featured, and this little boy crosses over into the land of the dead and meets his ancestors, and it was just such a beautiful imagination of afterlife. And of course everybody has their own beliefs, but there was so much joy and creativity and light in the world of the dead. It really sort of brought joy to me in imagining the people in my life who have passed away, what they could be experiencing, depending on their beliefs. Yeah. It was really, really lovely.
Words fail us all the time, but I think anger isn't quite the right word for that emotion. It's just so big and so mercurial and impossible to hold all at once, and that can feel like so many big seismic shifts in life. Grief or other processes of grief can feel like it's just so outside of yourself. You have no control. It's like this beast that has just like come out of nowhere and
Very overwhelming.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello there. Do you want me to start, or?
And I think what's so remarkable about Cruise is that we talk about the grief very directly. I lost a good friend from university a year ago, December, to suicide. And there was very little conversation after her death, and it was very bottled up. And so it's just really remarkable and refreshing to see such a open approach to talking about grief and to sharing that with others who are going through the same process. So it's been a healing process as well for myself, and a privilege to be part of.
It was really powerful for me, and helped me process a lot of the things I didn't process when I was at that age. So yeah, Cruise has been great.
I think my favorite part of today were some of the talks that we ended up having while we were doing the artwork, and just how much flexion there was, like the elasticity of our conversations. They went all over the place. They went from really intense processing of grief to dark senses of humor and just weird musings, and just back and forth and full of laughter and silence, and there's room for all of that in here. So I was really grateful that I could be a part of those conversations.
1, 2, 3. I quite like the whole free-flowing feel of the afternoon. I felt you gave us a space to to say what we wanted to say or not say what we wanted to say. He didn't push it onto us too much.
It's nice to be in a group with older folks as well, because I think most of my cruise work has been with some with the teenagers, but mostly with the little ones. So it's nice to feel like I'm among peers and people my own age who have experienced a loss, and it's different than the bereavements that I've experienced, but it's a very different feeling for me being here this afternoon than other cruise days and residential. So thank you for holding me in your space as well.
You're very welcome.